Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the great content thus far today. We've got another great session coming up for you now. Just want to take a moment for those who have newly joined us that the event app Swapcard is your home to check out the full agenda for today and tomorrow, full speaker lineup, and the social opportunities such as the roundtables and networking. Also, we do encourage you to get involved and ask some questions as well. Right, next we'll be hearing from one of the event's keynotes. Tuning in from the US is Marie Donoghue, who is the Vice President of Global Sports Video at Amazon. In this session, Marie will outline the e-commerce giant's right acquisition strategy, which includes the Awesome Nations Cup, which I've been enjoying the coverage recently, how the Prime Video strategy aligns with Amazon's wider business, and so much more. Very happy to hand things over to Sports Pro's very own Nick Meacham, who will be moderating this session for you. So take it away, Nick, and enjoy.
Thanks very much, Will. Great to have you here and great to be here with Marie. Now, before we get into Amazon itself, let's talk a little bit first about you, Marie. Can you talk to us a little bit about your journey to Amazon and your role at Amazon itself? How did you get there, and now what are you focused on within the business?
Absolutely. Thanks, Nick, and thanks for the opportunity today. Really happy to have this conversation. So I'm a recovering attorney. I've been in recovery for many years. But the one thread that has run through my career since I left law was really using new technologies and products to bring content, to create and distribute content. So I started out in the record company. I was the internet lawyer. The only reason I mention that is because it was when Napster was starting. We were trying to protect brick and mortar who were struggling. And it's probably the most important lesson I've learned in my career is the customers are never wrong. So when customers are starting to change their preferences and their behavior, pay attention. So after that, I went to a Paul Allen joint venture, which Starwave, where we created some of the first sports websites, NBA.com, NFL.com. We were the first to produce ESPN.com. We got acquired, became part of the Walt Disney, went through my portal years at the Go Network and the Walt Disney Internet Group, and then spent about my first decade at ESPN was spent largely on new media. So figuring out how to get the technology, how to get the partners, how to get the rights to bring content. We couldn't even bring video in the beginning. So spent the second half of my career at ESPN with broader responsibilities, but digital and new tech were always my soft spot and my love. So what I'm doing at Amazon is in a lot of ways the culmination of what I've been striving for my entire career. It's such a customer-focused company and culture. And really, I think we have an amazing opportunity to to use new technologies, new products, to create content and bring it to customers and sports fans in a whole new engaging way. So I'm just having a ball and loving my time at Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you were at Amazon, you're at ESPN. It's some would say a peak time of growth across the sports rights, sports broadcasting landscape, and ESPN were really one of the drivers of that at the time, where they were investing heavily in the rights space. I guess it would have been a pretty exciting time to be in a business like that. How similar is that that sort of time and that experience to what it is now you're seeing at Amazon?
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing experience. A lot of what we were doing at ESPN early on was convincing people that you weren't just TV rights. I used to I said to Adam Silver and Bill Koenig years and years and years ago, if the way to watch an NBA game is through a chip in my head, that's the game. I need rights to do that. So we don't have to have those conversations anymore. But at Amazon, we're slightly different. We are we're very different. We're part of a membership service. We're part of Prime, and Prime Video is much broader than sports. So it's a huge, broad selection of compelling entertainment that we want to bring to customers around the world. And sports can be a key part of that. For us, it's not one size fits all. So it's very different. We have some exclusive rights. So we'll talk about a bunch of them today, whether it be the Premier League, the rugby tournament. We have TriCast rights in the US, the NFL. We have a global deal, but we actually don't have it exclusively on Thursday Night Football. We'll have an exclusive game this year, but generally it's also shown on Fox as well as the NFL Network. We call that a TriCast arrangement. And then we also have channels. We are very transactional as well. We have channels in the U.S. and around the world. NBA League Pass, MLB TV, the out-of-market packages in the U.S. And we've also had pretty good success with pay-per-view. So that's something we're continuing to keep an eye on. So the rights deals have changed a lot. As I've explained, as they become more transactional and more varied arrangements. And also, my job is very different at Amazon because we're part of this membership service. I'd say my job's pretty easy. It's just to figure out how to use sports to drive value to that Prime membership.
So talking about that, and how does two things? How does the video proposition fit into the wider business, and how does sports fit into that as well? Like you touched a bit upon it there. But could you go into a bit more detail though? For people within the sports industry, we always look at sports and live sports is the holy grail of sport of rights and content that can be broadcast on any channel. How important is it to the video proposition that Amazon does have, and also how important is that video proposition to the wider business?
Right. Well, Prime Video is a key membership benefit to Prime. People love Prime because of the varied membership benefits and how they're always growing and innovating for years. We're always providing more value to that membership, and Prime Video is a key benefit. And I would also say sports is becoming an increasingly important component of that Prime Video offering. For us, Prime, you know as well as I do, sports is the most popular content in the world. And so we know that our Prime members love sports. And so we're always looking for ways to bring more sports that resonate with them, to bring it in, because we see it as such an important driver of value for that membership. So as I said, we don't look at things. I always want to explain we're not a 24/7 sports service. We're a much broader entertainment service. We're global. So we look at things a little bit differently. We literally start with the customer and work backwards. I know we'll get into a little bit of that today. So there's not a one sentence answer about how we go after each rights deal. I can't tell everything. Depending on the opportunity, depending on the customer base we're trying to serve, depending on the territory, depending on the rights that are available. So there's really not a one size fits all, but there's some fundamental values we come back to, and it's selection, it's value, it's convenience, it's engagement. So we look for all those things because we think that's a key membership benefit. And so that's how we evaluate sports.
Sure. Now, I guess you touched a little bit upon it, and you said there's not a one size fits all. But I think there's probably a few key measuring sticks and ways that you do determine value from it. One of the obvious ones from outside in, anyway, looks like it's what does drive people to subscribe and sign up to the Prime product. I'm guessing there's also an element of just general consumption from existing members. What is the priority there? Is it really at this stage, from the outside in, it looks like a lot of the deals you're doing, particularly the ones I've seen across a multitude of sports, you have a mix of longer term deals, but a lot of them are these shorter term, let's say punchier deals that you can see will have real impact. An example of that would be the Premier League deal in the UK, where you have the rights around the Christmas time, which just makes so much sense considering you're a commerce platform around Christmas. I mean, it seems like it's made perfectly for you guys. What are some of those key measuring sticks you are really measuring success on?
Yeah. So we have numerous ROI measures that we look at. It's everything, as you mentioned. It's acquiring new Prime customers. It's engaging and driving usage by existing Prime members. It may be re-engaging existing Prime members who have not streamed video in a while. And you're right. When we use sports to drive engagement and focus to our overall Prime Video offering. So fans don't just come in and watch the Premier League. We know they come in, they get exposed to broader Prime Video offerings, whether it be entertainment, or documentaries or other things. And of course, they also get exposed to the other Prime membership benefits. We'll get into some of the detail a little later, but to your point, when we had the Premier League last year in the UK, our first two Premier League days were the two highest ever sign up days for Prime in the UK. And so those folks signed up for Prime. They didn't just sign up for Prime Video. So to your point, there are all sorts of Prime membership benefits, and sports, as the same way Blockbuster Entertainment is a way to bring folks in, get them exposed to all the other membership benefits.
So with the Prime membership, I've seen a lot of data and analysis online through various channels with regards to the value you as a business generate from securing someone as a Prime member. Can you just sort of paint the picture on when you talking about how you measure the value from that, how much you're looking outside of just the subscription offering that you're offering as a video proposition? How much of it is about the whole collection of what a user or a fan or a consumer, whatever you want to call them, is how they're interacting with the whole platform that Amazon serves?
Yeah, I mean, my role is fairly simple, is to bring folks in, have them, figure out how to use sports, whether it be live or on-demand sports, to bring them in. I watch really closely their behavior, what brings them in, what engages them, what keeps them interested. There's a whole other set of folks who are focused on figuring out the other metrics. But I look, what I know is that Prime membership is an incredible membership service. We continue to experiment and try new benefits all the time. And what we've seen is sports work. Sports is bringing folks in. Sports is engaging folks. It's engaging folks. We've been really pleased with the measures I watch really closely with, just time spent, things like that, engagement. And of course, we actually listen to customers too. The feedback we get on our offering and on the customization and the optionality we offer, we've been really, really pleased. So that's what I spend my day-to-day watching and following those measures. And we've been quite pleased. So we're excited about what we're building.
No, absolutely. Now, looking towards, we talked a little bit about it earlier, but you have really quite a unique approach. You have some deals that expand across global marketplaces, and some of late that have been super regionalized with recent deals. Automations Cup is obviously one, but also the deals you've done recently around in Seattle around the MLS and with baseball in New York. Could you sort of talk us how those approaches differ and how you come to make decisions on taking such a hyper-regionalized approach and maximizing the value for Amazon in those markets?
Yeah, well, the deals are very different, so it's not one size fits all. But we do, it's not a cliche. We literally do start with the customer and work backwards. So I'll start globally in Seattle, where we're located. And we had an amazing opportunity with the Sounders, an incredibly avid fan base. It's streaming rights. We're literally just taking the game. We launched pretty quickly, so we haven't even had the opportunity to do a lot of the usual customization and innovation we would normally do. And we've been thrilled. It's a really easy message for customers. You live in the state of Washington and you have Prime, you get the Sounders matches. And so if you're a cord cutter, it's a great young, avid fan base. So to us, that's one that has over-delivered on all our projections. It's really delivering great value to our customers. And if you're a Prime member in Washington, we think that's a great benefit for you. But then, we also look broader, and we want to do things that move the needle. We want to do things that move the needle in broader ways. We always start with the country or the territory. We figure out, what are the most attractive sports offerings for those audiences? Where's there an opportunity? Why should we come in? Is there an opportunity? Is it a good thing for us to come in and serve these customers for them? Will they find it additive? And as you know, sports are largely inherently local. No matter how much we talk about the global appeal of sports, which they have, ultimately the most passion is often local. So in the Champions League deal we did for Germany, which will start next year, it's not a coincidence that we acquired rights for when the top German teams play. And you'll see us do things like that. The New Zealand cricket deal we just signed, it's a deal with the New Zealand Cricket Association, but our rights are in India. And the reason we did that is because during the term of our deal, the men's Indian cricket team, as well as others, will be traveling and playing cricket in India. And so we're thrilled. We know the Indian cricket team has unrivaled support in India, and we're really excited that for their 2 tours in the next few years in New Zealand, quite a bit of content, we will have those rights in India. As I said, it's not that complicated. We literally look at the customer and say, what is the opportunity for this customer? How do we serve them better? And as you know, when you talk about different types of rights, they're very different. We can, as I said, we can get exclusive, we can have non-exclusive. It all depends. We just want to serve the customer and have them find value in what we bring to them. So they're very different based on what the opportunities are. We are opportunistic. So I think sometimes that confuses people that we do look at everything. But everything has started with the customer, and we only do it if it provides value to the customer, and particularly their Prime membership.
Sure. So looking forward, so obviously some of the rights you're going after are now becoming more and more of a premium in value. You know, Champions League rights in Italy, the Premier League over in the UK, a variety of deals you have in the US. Now, if one of the main sort of barometers and markers for you is driving subscriptions to the Prime Video proposition, and you see the initial impact of that, obviously the initial impact is always going to be, I would have thought, a lot more valuable to Prime, because that's going to be the initial, say, shock to the industry, shock to the marketplace, that you're here with this new offering that is that hasn't been available before. So will you continue to invest heavily in those markets, even say 5 to 10 years down the line, once you've got a certain level of scale on your Prime Video subscribers? Or do you think that the initial impact that you receive from having Prime go into market, big rights, attract loads of new subscribers, the Prime proposition is one of the best subscription offerings in the marketplace, or anything, full stop? So you've got them there. Do you need to keep investing, I guess is the answer, in premium rights 5 to 10 years down the line, or not really?
Yeah, I mean, I can't answer a hypothetical, and we also don't answer. We don't talk about specifically who we're talking to, who we may talk to, who we may talk to in the future. I will tell you that it's not just an acquisition tool. I mean, as I mentioned, it's both to get folks into the Prime ecosystem. It's also to get Prime members to use Prime Video. It's to serve Prime Video members when they're there. I mean, we do really value engagement. And so it's not just bring them in and then not have and then it's not a bait and switch. That's not the intent. Obviously, we don't talk about future plans, but we value engagement quite strongly as well. And the other thing I would say is it also depends on the country, the territory, what the opportunity is in that sports marketplace.
So moving the conversation on a little bit further, let's talk quickly about non-live rights as well. Documentaries have been obviously a very hot topic this year, in particular within the COVID pandemic. The Last Dance obviously was a success, but the All or Nothing series in particular across Amazon has been a huge success from all accounts of the last several years, basically since it's launched. How much of a piece of the puzzle does non-live sports products like documentaries that you guys have on the platform play in the grand scheme of things? Is it just another part of the entertainment puzzle, or is it something more than that?
I think it's both, right? I think it is part of the broad selection of entertainment we want to bring to fans. But we also know that sports, whether they be live or great sports stories, drive incredible passion and engagement with fans. And we've seen that. We've seen that at Amazon. We've seen that the All or Nothing. I'll give you the example. The All or Nothing Tottenham Hotspur has been doing great. It's a big success for us. We're really pleased. And I also think when you've watched that series and now you're turning in to watch the Premier League on Prime Video this month, you'll understand a little bit more about the Hotspur, Tottenham. You'll understand hopefully a little bit what Jose's trying to do. I'm trying to put them in a position to win. And so I do think that the great interest that customers and sports fans have in sports can extend to live as well as things as docuseries. So you will see us. We're obviously interested in both.
Sure. Now, moving towards again another part of the business, most people within the industry would be familiar, but not all, that Twitch is part of the Amazon family, and Twitch is no small website. I looked up the other day; it's in the top 50 most viewed websites in the world. It's got anything but just a sister business. It's got a huge audience. The gaming community has been leaning on Twitch as a platform for many years, and it's been growing significantly. And this year we've seen announcements, obviously, of their moves into sports specifically as a vertical. And in fact, I think the session just before this was with Twitch talking about that as well. But can you just tell us a bit more about what that relationship between Twitch and Amazon Video does look like? How do you work together and complement each other, and where don't you work together? I guess would be really interesting to hear.
Yeah, we're joined at the hip. They are great partners with us, and we work together on all our plans. Look, for us, Twitch and the team there has been great. It's a great opportunity. It's a great sandbox. It's a great place for us to experiment, to test new experiences, innovate the viewing experience. We're particularly interested in building community. Twitch has such a powerful community. We also, obviously, it engages new and younger audiences. It's a very international audience. I'd also say it helps our partners with some of their goals. I mean, we have a great partnership with the NFL, and we actually, for several years, have shown Thursday Night Football on Twitch. And that younger international audience is very attractive to rights holders. Who are also great customers of ours. I always have to remember, when we talk about serving customers, we consider our partners customers as well. So that NFL partnership has been amazing. We've streamed our game on our Prime Video channel on Twitch for several years. We also have up to 20 plus co-streams of the game, where for those of you who don't know about Twitch, you actually go in and you watch and interact with your community. So if you have a creator on Twitch, they call them creators, I guess you'd call them talent on Twitch, who you really enjoy and feel an affinity for, you can go in and watch Thursday Night Football with that talent, and also importantly with that community together. And so we also, they gamify the experience. So we've done that around Thursday Night Football. It's got, live chat. It's got custom extensions, overlays. We have an extension on Thursday Night Football that you can actually predict plays. You can score points. You can, there's leaderboard. It's a great experience. And then this year on Thursday Night Football, we've really doubled down. Actually, this year, earlier in the week, we're producing with Twitch and NFL Network, we're producing original shows that run on Twitch earlier in the week. And it's just they're interactive shows, actually. So it's a great opportunity for fans to actually interact with former players and talented analysts in a very authentic and informative way. And then also on the night of the game of Thursday Night Football, we don't just have co-streamers, we also have two shows we're doing on Twitch. One is one that we also offer on Prime Video Audio, which is a Scouts feed, which is a much more stats-focused inside approach to sports. And then one is just a great fun one with some ex-players and an interactive experience. So I can't say enough about Twitch. It's an amazing partner. It's a great way for us to experiment and find experiences that resonate with customers. So yeah, we're thrilled with what we do with them.
And in terms of how you work with Twitch to I guess tackle the opportunities across the sports space, Twitch has a huge array now, is building a huge portfolio of its own of different sets of sports properties who work together and creating these community hubs that you talked about, which is really, really interesting. You've got live product, relationships like you have with the like they have with the NWSL for international broadcasting of the league's live content, but also the mix of that sort of personalized feeds that you talked about. Where do you see Twitch almost acting as a bit of not a funnel to Amazon Prime in terms of opportunity, but them being able to test some of the maybe the tier 2 or tier 3 rights properties that might exist, with a view that, hey, if there's an appetite there to move them into the Amazon Prime membership, then that's where you'll take the learnings from there and sort of take the next step with that relationship, if that makes sense.
Well, we work really closely together. We are very aligned on who we're talking to and what we're doing. We always work really hard to be complementary and to benefit each other in what we do. I don't want to, Twitch is a different platform, so I would never just call it a funnel to Prime Video. It's an incredible platform and is obviously a different offering. And, when leagues have relationships with Twitch, plenty of them don't even have live rights on there. It's just a great community platform. And so you'll continue to see us work really closely together. I can't speak to what rights will end up where and things like that, but we certainly do work really closely and have a pretty symbiotic relationship.
Sure. Now, speaking of all the innovations that you just mentioned earlier, one of the cool innovations you've got coming up is the X-ray feature, which has been a part of the Amazon Prime offering for a long time, but now what you're doing with sports seems to be really, really cool. So actually, we have a video which we might show of the X-ray product, particularly with what you're doing around the NFL. So if we can just cue the X-ray video and we'll show the audience what we're talking about.
The future of football is here with Thursday Night Football. Get the most interactive replay experience with X-ray. X-ray puts you in the broadcaster's seat with replays on demand.
Party cause we win it every year. Players can't respect better players. Ballin' like we in the NFL.
Click up on your Fire TV remote or turn your mobile device to access X-ray. Watch Thursday Night Football with X-ray. Thursdays, 8:20 p.m. Included with Prime.
I think I play in the NFL.
Now, there's a nice little taster of the X-ray product. Talk us through, what is the X-ray in a nutshell for those that don't really know, but also how much of an impact does the X-ray proposition really have to the fan experience and so maybe some of the metrics and insights you see around consumption?
Yeah, it's quite positive. So for those who don't know, X-ray is a Prime Video exclusive feature that we've had for several years. So if you're watching, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel or Jack Ryan, it's an overlay on your screen. So depending on what device you're on, you can either tap the screen or use your remote and you'll see the cast members, other credits they've had, additional information about the scene. Sometimes it'll be what music is playing, which I find quite helpful sometimes. Also, it's quite expansive. They have some custom content now, some behind the scenes. So it's a great feature. It freezes the show you're watching so you can explore other information. So what we've done a few years ago is they started working, we wanted that experience for live, but it would be different for live because yourself, if you're watching a game or a match, you don't want to freeze the game to go see, some stats. So the X-ray experience is a little different. It's just as easy to access, but it actually does not freeze the screen. So it doesn't take you away from the live experience. It's meant to be additive. So we've got live stats in there, stats, standings, all sorts of things. Last year, for the first year, AWS, Amazon Web Services, works with NFL on these things, on next-gen stats, which are actually stats that come out of sensors on the football player's shoulder pads. And so last year, we spent a ton of time, or the year before last, and we launched it last year, building live intake for those stats. So when you actually watch Thursday Night Football and you access X-ray, you're not just getting regular stats, you're getting the next gen stats, and they're live and instantaneous. And then last year we also launched replays, and we did this, I think, We also did it for the Premier League. We had instantaneous replays. And now this year, some of the video, you saw it a little bit in the video, you saw it today. We also have the replays are augmented replays, so that not only do you see the replay right away, but we use next gen stats and other measurements to say how hard that play was, how easy it was, and things like that. So we think it's, as I mentioned before, we believe in customization. We don't believe in, not every fan is the same. So, your daughter watches sports a certain way differently than your wife or your mother watches it. And, some people like a lean back experience on the couch. Some people want to watch certain stats, certain players, things like that. So we leave it up to the fan. And so X-Ray is one of those great customizations that you can actually engage with when you choose to. What we found is, particularly on Thursday Night Football, where we have the stats, where we've actually tracked this quite closely, more and more fans are engaging with X-Ray, and when they engage with X-Ray, their engagement and their time spent goes up materially. So, as I said, we start with the customer. We're always looking to see what the customer is enjoying and how we can better serve the customer. And there's no better example, someone who engages with it more and stays more when they use it. So we're quite pleased with it. There's also a commerce opportunity there as well that we'll continue to expand upon. So yeah, we are excited to do more and more with X-Ray, and especially the fact that you don't leave the live experience. That's incredibly important to sports fans.
Absolutely. I've got a couple of questions coming in from the audience, so which I might just throw into the mix, and they sort of align with what we're talking about now. This one's from Carlo DeMarcus. Do you think that the current designed for entertainment Amazon Prime video user experience will work best for sports in terms of discovery and consumption as you enter deeper into the sector?
Well, I think nothing stays static, and so I think we'll probably have a very different experience when we have a lot more. If we have a lot more content, I come from the world of back in my Starwave days, designing websites, figuring out. I didn't design the websites, but I did the technology deals and things like that to produce the websites. And so I don't think anything will stay static. I think user interfaces and navigation is incredibly important. Yourself in sports, the opportunity now is there's more content available to watch in different ways. The problem is people can't find it. There's some disconnect sometimes on the value. Sometimes, it's not as transactional as you would want. So I do think our interface will likely change as we get more content. It's just the nature of, and I think the Prime Video interface will change regularly as the service itself gets more content, and we learn to, and we listen. I want to reiterate, everybody at Amazon listens to customers. So the Prime Video CX folks are listening to customers also. So that's not a static interface. So we will naturally evolve for sure.
Sure. Now, you touched upon very briefly just before about the e-commerce and the native e-commerce, I guess you would call it, with the technology that, say, X-Ray does provide. Where are you at with that integration of e-commerce solutions into the live sports experience?
Yeah, so we've integrated a shopping experience in X-Ray already. What's really important to us, we'll continue to make that more seamless and improve the selection of content we have there. We think it's a great opportunity because sports fans are pretty passionate about their gear and about the teams and the players they follow. And I think there's particularly, when your team wins a championship or wins a big game, there's really passion moments where you actually you were like, how do I get that? So we do think that the passion around sports can and often does extend to commerce. It's really important to us, though, that it be additive to the experience and that it be intuitive. We don't want to detract from the content. So we're continuing to focus on that and figure out ways to do that. But we actually think it's a service for customers. We do think, especially new and younger audiences, there are passion purchases they want to make in certain moments. So we'll absolutely continue to explore that and innovate there.
Do you see? You may not be doing it now, or you may well be, but when you're looking at the media rights space and how you're valuing the rights you're bringing in, how much of that is built around the e-commerce opportunities you are generating through, particularly through the native side? And do you think as the product becomes more seamless, that'll become more important part of the decision making around what rights you do go after, or is it just another small factor?
Yeah, well, the one thing I would say is Amazon's got a huge commerce business already. So I should be clear. A lot of teams and leagues are in business with Amazon already. And I think we host the Tottenham store. I think we host several team stores already. And while I'm not personally involved in that, they are an important customer to us. On the rights deals, it hasn't, it's an opportunity. And I think if it works for customers and it works for our partners, it will become a bigger opportunity. It's not something we're going to force, though. It's to us, it's really important that the fan, I switch between fan and customer, but it's the same people, that the fans enjoy their live experience.
Yeah, okay. And now we've only got a couple more minutes left, but I just want to quickly touch on one thing. We've seen a lot of conjecture across the industry with regards to the way the media rights landscape and rights deals are done. Do you foresee, both not just from Amazon's point of view, but also more generally across the industry, do you see that framework of how rights deals are done will change dramatically? For example, we've seen a lot more deals being done where there's more of a shared risk reward situation with some of the deals that are being done. Is that something that Amazon would do, is doing? And also just widely, do you think that's something that the industry needs to do so everyone's got some skin in the game?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really predict what the industry will do, or future deal terms will have. I will say, though, on a personal level, there is a huge change happening in sports fandom. Consumption habits are switching. Going back to where we started with the record company, fans have more opportunity to interact and engage with content, but it's more difficult. It's hard. It's harder to find. There's some disconnects on the value chain sometimes. So I don't think things will change overnight. I don't necessarily think the deals will change overnight. I can't really predict. I will, change takes time. But I do personally believe that you will see leagues, teams, and owners continue to invest in streaming, continue to see the value in streaming, both the added access to fans, the added distribution platforms, and the opportunity to create and evolve the experience. So I think a lot of things as all that experience and that consumer behavior changes, I think the business will change. I can't predict exactly how the terms will work between in business deals, but certainly we're undergoing a pretty big transformation. I can't tell you the timing of the transformation. My personal gut is COVID has probably accelerated it. And I ultimately believe it's a huge opportunity for customers and for leagues and teams who really want to get closer to and serve those fans. It's a big opportunity.
Well, and the last question I think for us here is, again, it's more of an industry-wide question, but we've seen across the sports landscape, particularly as a result of OTT and streaming and opportunities that are developing across new platforms, this huge fragmentation and proliferation of rights being across a multitude of platforms, to which Amazon has benefited a lot from how that's played out. Do you see that being a longer term issue for sports as a whole, or I guess more opportunity because you're reaching new audiences? But do you think also that there might be some sort of consolidation down the line where more of these, you're seeing lots of D2C propositions popping up from rights holders, the tier 2, tier 3s in particular, where the NFLs and NBAs have obviously been doing it for quite a long time now. Do you think you'll see more of those actually being integrated somehow into the Amazon Prime offering, again, akin to what you're already probably doing with some of your partners in the US?
It's hard to predict. What I will tell you is we believe sports is really compelling, exciting content for our customers. So we will always look at opportunities to bring them sports they care about, whether it be as part, in our SVOD, our subscription service, or channel, or pay-per-view. So I can't really predict where the different rights will go. I don't control the rights. I can just tell you what we do, which is we will continue to work backwards from the customer. We will have a first-class viewing experience. We'll continue to focus on our innovations. And, the one thing I will say for us is we don't figure out the least common denominator and serve that fan. We don't, imagine a prototypical fan and this is the talent we're going to use. This is the information we're going to show them. This is the engagement we're going to offer them. We literally want to create a huge big tent, bring everybody in, and then figure out how to best to serve them and then give them the opportunity to choose, whether it be, we didn't talk too much about it, but a lot of the customization we do is you choose your own audio feed. You choose whether you want to watch it on Prime Video or you want to watch it with a creator on Twitch. And Premier League, we had a pleasant surprise. We had natural sounds of the stadium. We didn't even promote it, and it became hugely popular with fans because, football fans in the UK want to be in that stadium. So if you can make their living room sound just like the stadium, they're in heaven. And we also, I think you'll continue to see us as we did in the EPL. We have unlimited shelf space, right? So we had a night where we had 8 Premier League matches going, many concurrently. It's like sports nirvana, and I think that's what we'll continue to focus on. I hope and believe the industry and teams and leagues will also focus on the customer, but I can guarantee you that we will.
And that's a great note to finish on. Marie Donoghue, thank you so much for your time. Pleasure to speak with you, and look forward to seeing what's next for Amazon.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. Well, watch the tournament this weekend. We expect a big match on Sunday.
Will do. Thanks a lot.